You're listening to the Back Porch Talk podcast. Danny and Jason had many discussions and debates on the back porch while making pivotal investment moves with assets. That's right, with trading cards. They welcome you to the back porch and right into those discussions about current sports news with a fresh and unique twist. So come on and join us. Welcome to the Back Porch Talk podcast. I'm your co-host, Jason.
Your co-host, Danny.
Fans, we got a full show for you today. First, we'll talk a little NBA. Formula One season has started. And then some interesting discussions about college basketball. But first, Danny, right into the NBA, and where the highlight for me this weekend, Danny, was just the demolishing of the Golden State Warriors, man. I did not see that coming. And that was in the hands of Boston Celtics. And it was just a complete blowout. It was a premier game. It was on ABC on Sunday afternoon. I ended up sleeping on the couch, taking a nap, and the game was watching me in the first half. I wake up at halftime and I saw the score the way it was. And I was like, man, let me just go back to sleep, man, because this is what apparently the Warriors are doing. They scored 38 points in the first half against Boston, who scored 82 points.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a complete, whatever type of game plan the Warriors had against Jaylen Brown just didn't work. And I hate to say this, man, but I'm starting to believe that Boston is going to end up going to the finals here. Not only that, but they have a very good shot of winning the finals. Not a Boston Celtics fan by no means, but when you see a route like this, and you see how Boston is winning, they're winning multiple ways. They're grinding it out. They won in shooting a whole hell of a lot of threes. But recently, they haven't shot as many threes, and they have gone to the basket, and they're grinding out these victories. And so they're finding different ways to win, and that's one thing that I'm concerned with for the rest of the NBA. What say you, Danny, about this weekend in the NBA?
Yeah, Jason, that game was bad. Steph Curry ended up with 4 points, and it's one of those things where Boston is just on this roll right now because they're blowing out. They've had 2 50-point victories over the last few games. As long as they stay healthy, man, they're going to be a tough out for sure. To see what they did to Golden State. And Golden State came in hot. It wasn't like they were coming in defeated. They were playing well coming into this game. And that was not good for ABC, man. A lot of eyeballs left that game quick.
Real quick.
Yeah, that game was rough. And then the highlight of the weekend from a milestone standpoint was LeBron eclipsing the 40,000 point mark. Congratulations to him. They did lose. Anthony Davis made mention of that in his post-game press conference about every time LeBron hits a milestone, they lose. They were playing Denver. But congratulations to him on, it's been a long journey for him. And LeBron's not even a scorer, truth be told. He is more of the Magic Johnson type where he passes, but his game is just so dominating that he can score the ball, and he's had, great health, and he's been on some long runs and everything from the playoff perspective. So it's congratulations to him, man. It was tough to see him lose on that night because you kind of wanted to see them win, but
LeBron is one of one, 40,000 points. What can you say? I mean, he's had a long career, and he's still averaging over 25 points a game at the age that he's doing it at. So he's still balling. He still has an impact on the game. And just as so, I mean, he can play in any era. But one thing I think we need to keep in mind, though, too, this is not the era where as physical. The 40,000 points, I'm just curious as to a lot of those points came when the rules changed. There's no shade against anybody in this era at all. But my understanding is this season you're having more 20-point scores ever in the NBA. And so I think that says something with regards to how the game has evolved and how the rule change has helped the game evolve. And I think it really kind of stemmed from, seeing the likes of Golden State Warriors and how they actively move the ball, things of that nature. And I think the rules changed, obviously occurred a little bit beforehand, but I think with Golden State, that helped facilitate more rule changes and how things are being refereed. And so I say all that to say, still, it's a huge accomplishment. I don't know who's going to break this record, quite honestly.
I don't see it.
They have to have a long-standing career. And I think the rules are going to change slightly back to how things used to be. I can see some hand checking happening. Just probably not to the degree of back in the 80s and 90s, but I can see some hand checking happen. We'll see, but congratulations to LeBron on a huge accomplishment there. And then, Danny, I think one other noted game here for me was the likes of Cleveland Cavaliers against the Knicks. I think Cleveland, I don't know, maybe the Knicks just have their number. Knicks were balling in Cleveland yesterday. And let me just say, Dante DiVincenzo, I specifically look at him and I'm like, man, he just needed the opportunity and a system that can help showcase him a little bit more.
Yeah.
Going from the Bucks to the Kings, still a little injured, but then got healthy, went to the Golden State Warriors. He did his thing there, probably learned a lot watching Steph, watching Clay, practicing against them, and then ultimately going to New York. And I think we're seeing what I believe the big Ragu could have been in Milwaukee had he stayed there and had they been a little bit more patient, and showcased and highlighted him more. I think, he's absolutely balling for New York right now. And I believe if we would have kept him, and he plays defense, I'm thinking, who we had last year, Wes Matthews.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Beasley this year.
Yeah.
And we kept Big Ragu, man, he could have been that third option big time right now, because with Milton being out, don't get me started, man. So you all know the fellas knew on draft night who I picked.
Mm-hmm.
I said, man, we're going to go with Dante DiVincenzo. And lo and behold, we got him. And he played well. He played okay for us. Won a championship. He got hurt, but he was in the playoffs with us, won a championship. He earned that ring. He helped us get there. But man, I would have loved to have kept him and see where things could have gone there. But the highlight for me, the Cavs just have the New York Knicks have the Cavs number. And if that battle happens in the playoffs, I think it's going to be the Knicks all over again. What say you, Danny?
I was going to say, too, with that, Jason, the Knicks have a lot of Villanova Wildcats, and I think that has something to do with it as well, because they're used to playing with each other. So Brunson, Josh Hart, DiVincenzo, and I believe there's one more. I can't think off the top of my head on the team. So that helps with continuity and being comfortable. So DiVincenzo can play his game, and he's chucking up a lot of threes. But he's playing really well all around game, and they're tough minded, man. That's the other thing with New York. Those boys, even though they're getting banged around, they're not the biggest team, with some of their bigs out right now, but they're not afraid. And with that, the Bucks have moved into the number 2 spot. We talked about that last week. Cleveland can be had because this is new territory
Mm-hmm.
for them.
Mm-hmm.
At that top side of the Eastern Conference is what I'm getting at.
Mm-hmm.
So with them dropping the 3, Bucks moving to 2, Bucks playing the Clippers tonight, big game at home. This is where the Bucks kind of have to take a stranglehold on that 2 spot and not look back. I know they have a tough stretch coming up, but you just want to at least cement that 2 spot going into the playoffs. So this is a great opportunity for Milwaukee to gain some momentum and hold Cleveland off.
And now, Danny, on to Formula One, and where, oh boy, Formula One season started. And what happened? Red Bull wins again. Max Verstappen wins, going away easily in the Bahrain, man. And the way that he won, this really started off the very beginning here in terms of the positioning at the start.
Mm-hmm.
And once, he was able to kind of get ahead there was no battling at all. I think Ferrari's going to battle pretty good here this season. If any of the other teams can at least get pole position after qualifying round, and Red Bull is like maybe second, third, or even, kind of drop down, I think there could be a battle there. Mm-hmm. It's different when you're ahead and there's nobody really chasing you from the standpoint of going for number 1 position because you're so far ahead. It felt like once they start, Danny, he gets in position, he tries to get at least 1.1 seconds ahead. Because at that 1.1 second being ahead, the person in second position can't use DRS to catch up. And Red Bull cars their pace is very, very good. And so the likelihood of anybody getting within that 1.1 second is critical. If you don't get it then, you're not going to get it. And not unless they make some kind of mistake in a pit or something like that, which they tend not to do. So it's really at the beginning there for Formula One to try to get an advantage against Red Bulls. But I don't know, Danny. I think Ferrari is going to have a good season. I do believe that. And Mercedes, I don't know what's happening there. But one other thing to really look out for when it comes to Red Bull, there are reports there's some allegations about some mistreatment going on here by Red Bull boss Christian Horner, allegedly. It's been reported here off of even ESPN of Max Verstappen's dad calling Horner out. And so that's something to keep our eyes on. Again, this is all allegedly, and it's being reported off of ESPN. And so something to keep your eye on. But even with all the chaos, Red Bull still went 1-2. So what does that say about their car? I'm just hoping that there's some kind of battle here at the number 1 position. But even if not, I would say I'll be interested in seeing how the 2 through 6 spots go. And I think what has helped is the storylines that were outlined in the Netflix special, Netflix series. And so we'll see, but Formula One has started.
When you look at the leaderboard, it looked just like last year. Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, and you have McLaren mixed in there. And Leclerc from Ferrari ended up in 4th, but Russell from Mercedes actually was hanging in there for a while, and he fell back. Sir Lewis Hamilton was way back, and he edged his way back in to get the 7th spot. But if you saw this weekend, you could tell it was the first race because there was a lot of pit issues. for some of the cars. There was one car, I can't remember exactly which one. They were sitting in the pit forever. Like, there's no way they coming back. So those type of miscues are going to cost you. You cannot make any mistakes if you want to have a chance to beat Red Bull. You got to be perfect in all phases of the race to actually have a chance. So yeah, once Verstappen was gone, I was like, ain't no way anyone's catching him. So, like you said, it's a battle between 2 through 6, and unless somebody puts some pressure on Verstappen at the beginning, and because he's aggressive, so if someone's aggressive with him, that might throw him off his game a little bit. We got started, and Verstappen's got that first victory.
And I'll say this too, Danny. I think with even Ferrari, these competing, I'm actually looking forward to next season already, because I really want to see how Sir Lewis Hamilton is going to look how he's going to look in the red Ferrari, but then how he's going to battle.
Yep. And
so I think if Mercedes, it's just a whole lot that potentially can happen here, especially with the alleged reports coming out of Red Bull's camp. Maybe there's a change in drivers there to Mercedes, or we already know that Sir Lewis Hamilton is going to Ferrari, but what other changes are going to happen driver-wise? So this is going to be all interesting. Yeah. And we're talking about multi-millions of dollars that's being awarded to how these teams place in the Constructors' Cup. So we'll see. And Danny, on to another record that has been broken. Caitlin Clark, who plays for Iowa, breaks Pistol Pete Maravich's all-time leading score record. And she did this past weekend. And all I can say is congratulations to her. This is a huge accomplishment, something that has been on a radar for a little bit of time, more so this season. And now she has actually committed and indicated that she's going to the WNBA. But I would say congratulations to her on this achievement.
Thank you for joining us at Back Porch Talk Podcast. You can also join us on Twitter by tweeting us at @back_podcast. For more information, you can go to our website, which is backporchtalkpodcast.com. You can also email us at backporchtalkpodcast@gmail.com. Again, thank you for joining us, and remember that there's enough hate in the world, so go ahead and spread a little love.